This tutorial is going to cover how to use custom fonts to create an art project in Adobe Photoshop. To get started, you need to think of a few different words that you would like to use as the focal point for your art. In this example, I'm going to use the word coffee because I love coffee. So, I am currently on Adobe Fonts, which is linked in your project document. And the first thing that I want to do is look at the left side of the page here at different tags. These tags are categories, and within these different categories are similar fonts. Under calligraphic, you'll find a lot of the different script fonts, things that you might want to find on a wedding invitation. Under brush pen, you'll find some playful fonts that look as if they have been created in a sketchbook, possibly. Or luxury, for if you are interested in luxury brands. Now for coffee, what I think about is a coffee shop. And for me, that's best represented by Art Deco. Art Deco was an art movement in the early 20th century, and it became kind of a staple for design. So I'm going to select Art Deco, which brings up a number of different options, and you can see that each of these are sort of branded differently. You have some that are very simple. You can see some that are kind of trying to sell you with this idea of being sort of fun and evocative of maybe the 50s or the 60s. And as you look through these, you might see something that you like, and if you are looking through your own fonts, hopefully something catches your eye. This one up here, Espiritu, caught my eye, and it reminded me of a bag of coffee that you might find in a local coffee shop. So right now, that's one that looks appealing to me. What I can do is go up here to the top, and under sample text, I can type in coffee. I can play around with the font size and see if that's really something that I like. So I'm going to go with Espiritu. And in order to install it in Photoshop, I'm going to click View Family. That will bring me to this page. From here, I can click Activate 5 Fonts. If you need to sign in with Google, you will do that. And once you've signed in, it will get sent over through the cloud into Adobe Photoshop. So let's jump over to Photoshop. Inside of Photoshop, you're going to create a 7 by 5 document, changing the resolution to 180. Once you've created that, your text tool is found here. And this is going to be utilized for most of this project. Select it, and you want to click and drag. Your goal is to try to fill up as much of the space as possible. When you let go, you fill up the space. It might fill it in with some placeholder text. This was the same placeholder text that I used in the video. You can type your word in here now. So a few things to notice are that when this text box was created, a layer was also created for it in our Layers tab. This is going to be important because when you are using the text feature, if you start getting frustrated with it and just clicking around or trying to edit it, what you're going to find is that you quickly will create a lot of layers. So it's important to make sure that you take your time, have the proper layer selected, and then if you just click in the word and highlight it, you can start to modify the different settings like you would in any Google Doc or Microsoft Word document. So I want to fill this artboard with my word, so I'm going to increase the font size, but 72 still isn't quite big enough. And if you find that that's the case, you can double click up here, highlight the number, and change it to whatever you might like. 150 looks like it might be good. Let's see about 175. Perfect. So now we've got that finished, and the second part is going to be changing it to the font that we chose. So I chose Espiritu, and if I look in my font list, I should see that it has shown up right here. And when I change it, I find that maybe I'm going to need to make my font size a bit smaller. 130 it is. So now I can move this around wherever I want. In this case, I'm going to just center it. And once I've done that, I should go and find some different shape art that I can use. To find shapes, you're going to go to Window, Shapes, and that will bring up a list over here of different shape categories, and inside of them are different images that we can use. These are all going to be single color images, and they are vector images, which means we can make them as large or small as we'd like. Now, right now I've only got the choice of wild animals, trees, boats, and flowers, and none of those really represent coffee. So the first thing that I want to do is to click on these bars and select Legacy Shapes and More. What this is going to do is to bring in shapes that were from previous versions of Photoshop. And this might give me a few more options. Got people, landmarks, cities. And so I could try to find something in there that would match what I am trying to do. You can also search under all shapes and see if there might be something inside of there as well. And if there is, that's wonderful. Drag it into your object and you'll be finished. Now, I was not so lucky. I didn't find anything that I was looking for. So inside of the project document, there will be a link to this website, which is My Photoshop Brushes. On this website, there are options for different shapes that you can bring into Photoshop. And hopefully you'll find something in here that works for you. I found this tea and coffee cups shapes. So I'm going to click on that, click download, and it will download a zip file. You will want to download that document, open up the zip file, and then move the folder that's inside to a location on your computer that you'll be able to find. Once you've done that, head back into Photoshop. And with the Shapes window still open, we're going to click the bars, and we are going to import shapes. Find your shapes on your where you put them, and find the CSH file, which is your custom shapes file. Just double click it. You'll find, and you might have to scroll down towards the bottom, that you have a new folder with all of the icons that you were looking for inside of there. You can grab one, drag it into your document, and adjust it to fit your needs. I'm going to put it on top of this O, and I'm going to change the fill to a different color. Once you have done that, you can continue to edit your document as you see fit. You're welcome to put as many different images as you'd like in here. You can change the colors and play around with them. You can also get creative and try to swap out different letters for shapes. If your word was donut, you could have changed out the O for a shape of a donut, and that would work as well. So play around with this, take some time to find the font that fits your style, and I look forward to seeing your work.